Laura Catherine. How's it going? It's good to see you again, and good to have our next episode of our AI podcast series. This one, we're going to be talking about Canva, but I wanted to let everyone know that, again, my name is Joe Daraskovich. I work for several associations and societies in the medical field, and so this podcast that we're doing is sort of an added benefit for our members to sort of get some crash course in AI and get some tools that might be able to help you with your practice and with organization and everything like that. But I'm joined every week by with my co-host here, Laura Catherine. Go ahead and tell them who you are and what this podcast is all about.
Good morning, and thanks for having me back. I'm Dr. Laura Catherine Neal. I currently serve as the National Dean for the College of Health Sciences for DeVry University. I have over 27 years worth of experience of working in healthcare executive roles within hospitals and private practice. And I'm excited to kind of share a few things that you might want to learn about Canva today and how it can help your medical practice.
Right. And each week, just as a reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time today, we kind of focus on a different tool every week as we go. The first week was actually just introduction, so we kind of give a little bit about who we are and what we're doing here. Next week, the second week was Chat GPT, and now we're getting into Canva. So this episode is entitled Enhancing Medical Practice Management with Canva. And real quick, let's just jump in and tell everybody what Canva is, and in case anybody's never heard of it or used it at all in the past.
Sure. So medical practices themselves kind of face unique challenges in creating professional visual materials, right? Clear communication is really essential when it comes to patient education and practice management. So Canva is kind of a powerful accessibility solution that requires no design expertise. Thank goodness. And it can help medical practices create really high quality visual materials pretty easily. It's an intuitive design tool. They have templates that are pre-made that are simple for anyone who wants to produce something that's pretty engaging without any significant design schools. And by using a tool like Canva, medical practices can improve the look and effectiveness of their patient education materials, internal communications, and more. So, it's a great way to kind of enhance, elevate, if you will, the organization's visual appeal.
And I think this is a good time to also chime in that although I am the co-host of this podcast series, I don't claim to be an expert, so I'm kind of learning along with all the listeners. And full disclosure, I've used Canva a little bit over the last year or so, just for designing flyers or maybe doing a little light video work and things like that. So I'm excited to kind of jump in and see how this can make all of our medical practices and just our lives a little smoother. So moving on, creating health infographics. Is that the first thing we're going to talk about today?
So, I mean, because Canva's unique design form is more of a drag and drop, it allows you to put some things together in a format that makes sense to you. They have over 250,000 templates. So, if there's something you think you want to make, they probably have a good way to get you jump started. And the free version of Canva has all those core functionalities. So, that's the cool thing. It's not something where you have to get into and then pay more to have more of. But creating infographics is probably one of my favorite things to do, both from a practice administration perspective as well as an educational one, right? And health infographics really themselves are a really great visually and kind of step-by-step way to communicate medical information to patients and the public, right? So they allow you to take something that's really complex, make it visually engaging, and then make it easy to understand, right? Make it flow. And infographics are probably my favorite because it kind of gives you that top-down vertical view for you to kind of get used to what you're looking at. The best way to do it is kind of, start with a template. Do you have colors? Is there a brand color? You have color schemes that you can choose from that make sense. Do you want to have some concise visual elements? You can even put in, because now Canva has AI functionality in it. You can even say, I want to create an infographic that talks about hand washing, for example, and it'll design some options for you to choose from. You can customize it, add in your logo, add in some details that are specific to your medical practice or the specific patient you want to make sure this information gets to. And the cool thing, it can even do translations. So you can do it in different language formats and have more than one option for your patients to see. So I think infographics is probably my most favorite of all of the virtual formats that are available to get your office started.
Well, I'm glad you talked about all of that kind of stuff because Canva can be if you have plenty of time and you have all the time in the world, you can really adjust the pictures and kind of come up with your own kind of thing. But then there's a lot of times where, someone says, "Hey, I need this infographic quickly," or "I need, something by the end of the day." And that's where that AI element kind of make things a little smoother. Where I know in the past I've really cared about some of the flyers and things that I'm doing. And then, it's almost like the easy button when you utilize that AI. So is that is that what am I understanding correctly, that you can either, spend all day working on one little thing in Canva, or you can kind of make it a little quicker if you utilize the AI?
Yeah, using the AI and using the templates, kind of those combinations together, make things super simple. For example, my background behind me is my actual background, but I have several different types of backgrounds that I use depending upon the circumstance that I've created in Canva through their Zoom backgrounds that they already have kind of preset that are set for the right size, platform, anything that you want like that. So leveraging both pieces, both the AI piece to make it sound more intelligent or frame it in a way that you want to be out there in the public voice, and then also making it visually appealing is a really great way to make things kind of more customized and more branded to your organization. And then you can save it and you can repurpose it and you can download it in different kinds of fashions. You can do it in a PDF, you can do it as a PowerPoint, you can do it as a virtual social media thing. And we're going to talk some more about that when we talk about social media graphics and patient education materials in a minute.
Well, and that's great too, that a lot of the doctors and practice managers that are probably listening right now, you might have a background that you use for your practice, and then you might need another background for one of the medical societies you belong to, and or if you belong to multiple, and you go from 9 to 5 working at your office, and then you have a meeting that evening and you need to switch it over. So it's good to have a lot of backgrounds, and Canva's a way that you can kind of make those look really, really great. Let's talk about patient education materials. Is that the next big tool that we have here?
Say yes, and it's probably the one that most medical practices would gear towards first. It's the way that we can really help our patients understand their conditions, manage their health effectively. You can use Canva to create brochures. You can do handouts, which is a great way to explain complex medical information, especially in certain practices. If you specialize on shoulders and hand, or you specialize on knees, your podiatry office, whatever the case may be, you can actually create stuff ahead of time that you can even have sitting at your checkout desk that your employees can actually pass out to patients at checkout. You can have informational stuff that they can think about when it comes to surgeries. There's a lot of ways that you can put these things together, but these types of avenues using Canva, you're taking visual materials because some people are visual learners. You're taking written material of that's kind of complex and you're customizing for your specific patient population. This ensures that the information is relevant, that it's easy to understand, and that it adds illustration to provide improved comprehension. Now, let me just tell you, I'm fairly educated in a lot of spaces, but I am also very clumsy. And there have been many times where I've had to spend a lot of time in the physical therapist's office. And one of the things that I love, and I was teasing my physical therapist about, is they created actual infographics that teach me the appropriate way to stretch, to follow up on my care at home, to do the same exercises at home in between my treatments, which was great because it cut down on the amount of money I was spending for physical therapy, but I was able to do in-home care. And had I not had visual and written cues to kind of tell me how to do it, I probably would have ended back up in there with another injury. So it's a really great example that you can do that in terms of patient education. It gives you the ability to brand it across all of your information that matches what we talked about last week in ChatGPT about patient portals, like tying all of your pieces together, which makes it look very professional, very well designed, and it really improves those patient outcomes because you're giving them something to take with them rather than just trying to pay attention to everything that happens in that physician visit.
Yeah, and making it digestible. Obviously, the doctors and practice managers are the experts on all these different medical, diagnoses and things like that. But if you hand them a 25-page, book on, what this exact thing is, they're not gonna be able to understand that. But that one sheeter makes it a lot easier to just kind of look at, and with those graphics and things like that, makes it easier to digest, easier to understand for the common person like me, like yourself. So let's talk social media, though. That's something that everybody, whether you're a grandmother, checking in on your little grandkids, or whether you're a high school student that's trying to run for prom king or prom queen, you're using social media. So how can we utilize Canva in the social media world?
Well, believe it or not, a patient portal is also a type of social media. A lot of times physicians think of it as a tool, but it's also a way to get your message out, right? You can use it for a lot of different features. And so
Sure.
social media probably is the most powerful way in our current culture to expand a practice's reach, right? And build community trust because they feel like what they see on the internet must be true, right?
Right.
So Canva has some specific templates that ensure your content look professional, and every channel will work with it. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, your patient portal, any of those things work. You can schedule social media campaigns around healthcare awareness events, for example, which can maximize engagement with your audience. We do it when it comes to this podcast, right?
We
And
do.
so gallery that they have available with inside Canva really shows you different types of social media graphics you can use to create anything from a medical post, hey, it's Diabetes Awareness Month, those kind of things. You have edited logos, they're really high quality, and the graphics really kind of pop out on social media in a way that most lay people can't reproduce. And I love that because you can actually create it. And if you use some of the tips we talked about in the last episode, you can use ChatGPT to develop a social media schedule, a calendar of what you want to put to help you create, even if you want some fun Pixar characters, right? If you want to show Mickey walking around with a pair of crutches, you can have ChatGPT help you with some of those kinds of things, right? And
Right.
depending upon who your audience is, you can adjust it so that it reaches the audience in specifics that you want.
Yeah, no, and those are all great points too. That we're giving you tools each week that you can use on their own, obviously. But ChatGPT can be used for a lot of things you mentioned, or that infographic that we talked about at the beginning. You can kind of have ChatGPT massage the language that you're using to make it have that punch that you're looking for when you're trying to get that out to the patients. So pick up these tools every week and then kind of use them together, and it all will make sense and be easy to kind of figure out for your patients going forward. All right, let's talk about in the office. Let's talk about when you're in the office, is there some signage and opportunities for Canva to help you out there?
Yeah, so practical usage, right? Let's bigger than and then also smaller than. And so one of the things that it can also do is help you with office signage. I love that because let's be honest, when your patients come into your office, they want to feel welcome. Yes, there's busyness, you can have all kinds of informational stuff everywhere, but it also needs to be practical in way of creating that professional welcoming environment. Wayfinding signs are a good example. You can use it to kind of design it. How do you want it to look? Then you can send it out to the sign maker and they can design the signs exactly the way you want, right?
Right.
Making sure the patients can navigate their way through facility. Protocol posters are another one. You can have them with the latest hygiene techniques on what you want. You can have them put them in the waiting room to kind of provide valuable information about your services. And I love the fact that you can leverage Canva to do really cool staff recognition boards. We did this a lot in my private practice so that everyone patient that came down a specific hallway on their way to the rooms could see how we appreciate and value our employees because those are the ones who are giving them care. And being able to create that stuff in a unique way is really nice.
Well, and being able to have that right tone. I was just in the pharmacy the other day, and they had a poster on the wall that was kind of raising awareness for human trafficking. And obviously, it was a good place to have it because everyone's going into the pharmacy. But you want that to have a certain kind of feel to it. It's a very important topic, and Canva can using the templates and using the different things. You don't want to have balloons and a festive feel to something with that much gravity to it. So it was just I made note to myself when I saw that poster that the person who made that poster really, either used Canva, used something, or they were from the basics. They really made it kind of have that feeling of importance that human trafficking needs to have. So that's the kind of thing that you can do in your own office is make it kind of cater to what people need to be seeing on that poster.
Well, that's
All right, now go
design,
ahead.
right? Intentional design. So that fits nicely into the right attitude, the right tone. What are you trying to set? And you
Right.
can do some of that by leveraging the AI components that Canva has been building in over the last 18 months or so to kind of make sure that you're getting the right message across. You can also do the same thing with some other things that are a little bit more practical, right? Appointment cards, appointment reminders. Not only did I remember I mentioned earlier that the patient portal is social media, you can actually have Canva help you develop the social media aspects, the things that show up on someone's cell phone to remind them they have an appointment. Different kinds of, hey, it's Diabetes Awareness Month. We wanted to let you know this is what we've got going on. But then those physical hand over the counter kind of appointment cards, or the design and look of how you want your handout sheets to look like. So you can brand your templates, you can put them together in a couple of different ways. You can design them for specific appointment types. You can design them with educational pieces to go out saying, okay, now you're going to have to go have an MRI, you're going to have an X-ray, you're going to have to do whatever. And so creating digital versions are a great way of being able to get that done, and still old school for some of us, we still like paper.
That's right. And my background, years ago, I worked at a newspaper, and I love to feel that newsprint in my hands when I read the newspaper. And so I'm one of those guys. I admit it. I like to have some sort of tangible thing in my hands. But I'm glad you also brought up the developments over the last year for Canva using AI and things like that. That I'm sure these programs are constantly evolving and constantly coming up with new things. So as you're getting used to the things that are in place there, just know that Canva and these other platforms are constantly pushing the envelope and thinking about, hey, what else can we do with these AI features? Because AI is not going away. It's becoming more and more common across all these things that we're talking about.
Yeah, we're facing in a lot of different zones that we hadn't considered AI was going to be a part of before, right? We always thought it was more, this is the techie space. But now we're starting to see where it's becoming layperson. Most people have, if you have an iPhone or a Samsung, there's AI functionality now in your phones. If you're using Microsoft Office, it now has Copilot, where your Word, your PowerPoint, everything that you use for the Microsoft products has some type of AI in it. And so Canva's the same way. It's another great tool that a medical office can use. It allows you, again, like we said, to create that clear visual where it's appealing to the masses. It helps patients understand what you're trying to get across to them. It helps them improve their understanding, satisfaction with your office because they have something tangible that they can wrap their arms around. And you can use it in a way that's very functional and very quick, right? And what we're talking about a lot of times with these functionality pieces is a way to create things that are professional looking, but don't take a tremendous amount of time, and are using free tools that don't cost a tremendous amount of money for the organization other than your time. So when we leverage things like this, it does a couple of different things, right? It enhances that patient experience. It also creates time and resource efficiency. It creates consistent branding. One of the things that's challenging is you have one person come in with a vision, somebody else comes in with a vision, and now all of a sudden your stuff starts to look a little chunky. When you're using, like the office version of Canva, you can actually go through and create some of that consistency, make sure the colors are the same. You can actually inform your patients more intelligently in a way that suits them. A lot of times in healthcare, we can speak over our patients, not on purpose, but now with intentional design, with intentional verbiage, with the right tone and the right look, you can actually create treatment plans and other things that are right up the patient's alleys. And then, of course, the appointment cards, the cool things you can do to your patient portal, all of those things work to make something that feels very complex really simple for your team. And it's a great way for them to gain confidence to kind of do more with these tools once they get comfortable with them.
Yeah, and I'll also say that Canva is fun. It's fun to have a cool design that you've from scratch kind of made become a reality. So that's the other thing is it's quick, it's easy to use, but I'll tell you when I make a flyer and like I give it to someone, I'm proud. I'm not, hey, I use Canva, but I made this thing. So it's a fun platform to use. All right, I think well we've also the one thing we've been trying to do is make these quick and easy to listen to. I think we did a good job of that today. Any last thoughts before we say our goodbyes?
No, I just would encourage you to get in there and play. Leverage all the different technology that's out there with inside this application, especially as they continue to evolve. Look at the different things. They have wide posters, skinny posters, they have Zoom backgrounds, they have social media posts, they have virtual presentations that interactive. There are a lot of different ways within the Canva tool that you can leverage to bring those pieces of your organization to the next level. And I would hope you would tune in to next week, because next week we're going to talk about WhatsApp. What is that? Well, it's a great way that you can address a major pain point within a medical practice, which is patient communication. And it's a tool that is now becoming more and more common. My church uses it to communicate with us when we're serving on Sunday. My physician's office has it tied to their patient portal so they can send out appointment reminders. It's a great tool to kind of bring us along as we continue this journey of what are the cool things that you can use in AI that are going to help your organization be more efficient, more effective, and save you some time and some
I
money.
love it. I love it, and people are trying to figure out other ways of communicating with people. There's a little bit of email. There's a lot. I get a lot of emails. That's another way you can communicate with people. So we'll have a lot on that next episode. And if you have any questions or you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. We'll try to address them. But I think this was a very good episode, and we kept it concise. And I hope everyone at least got something out of it. And now it's your turn to go try Canva out and give it a shot.
Absolutely. And once again, feel free to reach out to Joe or I at any time if you have any additional questions or you just want some advice on how to play around with these tools. We're here to help.
Yep. All right. It was another great episode, and we'll see everybody next time.
See ya.